Okay, hi. Today I'll be sharing more about the analysis of Johnny Depp's chart because if you have been so-called updating yourself with the news and social media, you'll be noticing that there's a lot of news about his lawsuit with his ex-wife, Amber Heard. So if you look at the timeline, they actually met in 2019. Subsequently, they got married in 2015. Then by 2016, actually, the wife filed for divorce with him. Then it was finalized in 2017. And subsequently, by December 2018, the wife actually wrote an article that hinted she was abused, although she did not mention his name. Yeah, but the following year, Johnny Depp actually sued her for defamation. Then this year itself, we have another new lawsuit that is happening. So if you notice that I highlighted certain words like here, Jupiter, Mercury, then Jupiter, Venus, because all this drama is happening during this period of time. Then I want to take this opportunity to analyze his charts and see why this period is giving him all that trouble related to his ex-wife. So this is natal chart. Is Cancer rising. You can see here Cancer rising. So on the onset, when you first look at his chart, you will notice that his Dasha period, Jupiter, is actually very well placed in the ninth house. Is in the sign of Pisces, which is Jupiter's own sign. So it's very strong over here. But then if you notice that Mercury and Venus, Mercury is well placed, Venus is well placed also. In fact, Venus will be very strong because it's in Taurus, which is its own sign as well. So on the onset, when you look at his chart, all these Mahadasha period and Bhukti lords are very well placed. So you would expect that he will go through a very good period during this time. But if you analyze further, you will notice that Jupiter rules the sixth house. The sixth house is the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is expecting the first house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, by its fifth aspect. Okay, and is expecting it very closely. You see, Jupiter is 20 degrees. The ascendant degree is 19, so it's within 2 degrees. So as a sixth lord, it is giving that negative effect to the first house. And first house is Johnny Depp himself. That's what it represents. And being the Cancer sign, Cancer represents mental peace. It represents domestic peace. So all this has been afflicted. So definitely Jupiter is not going to give him a good period to go through. It's not something that he will enjoy during his Mahadasha period. Then if we are to make Jupiter, the Mahadasha Lord, as the Lagna and rotate the chart accordingly. So I make this the first house, Jupiter. You'll notice that Mercury and Venus is in the third house. Okay, Mercury and Venus is in the third house. And who is it? Who are they conjuncting with? They're conjuncting with the Sun, right? And you will notice that the Mercury over here in this format, Mercury rules Virgo, which is the seventh house. That means Mercury is the seventh lord and is with Sun and Venus. So Venus actually rules the eighth house. And Sun rules the sixth house. And we know that the sixth and eighth house are not houses that brings good things. In fact, the sixth house represents litigations, conflicts, and the eighth house represents unforeseen circumstances, troubles, obstacles. So all these conjuncting with the seventh lord again reinforce the fact that it's not going to be a happy period for his marriage or relationship. Next, we look at the D9 chart, which is the chart for the marriage, or what we call the Navamsha. So again, you look at the Mahadasha Lord Jupiter, is actually in Capricorn in the second house. And what happens to Jupiter when it's here? It's actually debilitated. And based on my theories of analysis for divisional chart, I use the Sashadri Ayers method. So based on his method, Jupiter is not going to get any Nicha Banga. That means no cancellation of this debilitation. So it is very weak. And debilitated planet actually contaminates planets that conjuncts with it. So in this case, we see that Mercury and Venus is conjuncting with Jupiter. So they are being contaminated, meaning that Mercury and Venus will give negative results during their period. Okay? And furthermore, based on Sashadri Ayers' teachings, we also teach the concept of soul enemy, which I mentioned here, soul enemy. So for Venus, the soul enemy is Jupiter. So a soul enemy is like a malefic, but it has more intensity in terms of its negative effect. Okay. Then furthermore, all these planets here were actually afflicted by Mars, by its 8th aspect, right? So all this shows that the Jupiter, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus period is a very negative period for him. He's going to go through a lot of challenges related to relationship and marriage. If you are to recall that he's actually a Cancer rising, so this will be something that you need to, let me bring back the earlier slide. So you recall, he's actually a Cancer rising. So this is to be noted because I will talk about something else called the Rasi Tulia Navamsha. That means based on the Navamsha chart, I rotate the chart so that the first house matches the same house as the birth chart. So in this case, it's Cancer. So I rotate the chart so that it becomes Cancer. But the placement of planets within the Navamsha, we keep it as it is. So once you rotate that chart, you'll notice that all that drama that is happening in Capricorn, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, they are now occupying the 7th house, which is again the house of marriage and relationship. So it further reinforces the fact that all this drama is happening in relation to his marriage, to his love life. And this Venus period that is currently going through is going to run all the way to March 2024. So it's going to be some time that will be before all this situation ends for him. Yeah. Whether the suit will end in his favor, probably we'll need to look at the transit, but that will not be within the coverage of what I'm talking about within this video itself. There will be enough time. So I'll bring this to an end on my sharing on the Johnny Depp's chart. Thank you.